Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And now we're looking at baking soda, and pretty famous brand here, but you can use just about any brand. Just remember, baking soda is not baking powder. They're two different things. Now you want to make sure you use baking soda in this recipe I'm about to tell you about. And what the recipe for? Well, you've heard me for the past few days complaining about the invasion of moths, and they are bad. And everybody, I went up and did some work for one of my neighbors today, and also stopped by another neighbor's and picked up some scions, which I will be doing in a future video of grafting those. And I'll talk about those in a little while, as we're going to head down to the garden. But before we do, insect spray. See what I wrote on the bottle here? Insect spray. Okay, this is 100% natural organic insect spray. This is safe for your plants and your pets, but it sure does a great job on insects. Now those moths that have been around here, I've tried using Raid, different sprays, the flying insect and the ant sprays and all of that stuff, and the moths just lick their lips and laugh. They don't care. It doesn't bother them. But I've tried this stuff today, and this stuff knocks them right down. As soon as you spray it on them, they just go right to the ground. So it's pretty cool. I like it. The only thing you have to remember, and I'm going to give you the recipe here in a second, is that you have to shake it just before you spray. Okay? You're going to keep the ingredients all mixed. They'll settle out if you just leave it sitting. Alright, what are the recipes? Okay, I found this online, and I modified the recipe a little bit because one item I didn't have, I was out of. And also, they talk about mixing it for 1 liter, and I didn't have 1 liter container, but I had a half-gallon container. So I modified to work on an empty milk container, which mostly everybody would have laying around, if not an orange juice container or some juice container, something like that, or even water. You can get water in the smaller containers, or just double this recipe for a 1-gallon bottle and just keep it sitting to one side, and when you need it, put it in your spray bottle. Now, I get these spray bottles at Home Depot, and they are really, really good. And they're adjustable, so you can get a squirt or a spray just by adjusting the nozzle here. And they're pretty comfortable to use, and they last a long time. So don't pay attention to Fire Aid. I had Fire Aid in this one, which is another product, but I had to use this sprayer, so I put the Fire Aid back in its main container, rinsed this out, and now I'm using this for the insect spray. And I'll just keep, whenever I use up what's in here and add it to here, then I will switch it and refill this. And I'm going to keep some of that around all summer. It apparently works on all types of insects. I've tried it on the moths, and I've tried it on flies, and it works on both of those. So here we go. So for 1 gallon here, I added 4 teaspoons of baking soda. That's what I just finished showing you over there, Arm & Hammer baking soda. 4 teaspoons in a half-gallon. Okay, then I used 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil, because neem oil, NEEM, is better, but I didn't have any. I was out of it, so I used regular vegetable oil, and it works. Okay, then I used 1 teaspoon of Dawn dishwashing liquid. Okay, and they say to use organic dishwashing liquid. Well, Dawn is as close to organic as you're going to get. I mean, if you can trust it to wash your dishes with it and then eat out of those dishes, that's okay for you. All right, so I used 1 teaspoon of that into this mix, and then Let's see, what did I get? I did the Dawn, the neem oil, the water, and the baking soda. And the baking soda for, like I said, 4 teaspoons in this size. All right? Then shake it up, mix it up, add it to your sprayer, and keep your sprayer handy for spraying bugs and that stuff. Another nice thing about it is, unlike bug sprays where you spray and you get the odor all through your house, you don't get any odor with this. And if you spray it on your windows, it's real easy to wash your windows because it's got dish soap in it, so it'll clean your windows too. All right, so we got that all settled. Let's move on, and we're going to go down to the garden house, the Garden of Eating. And I know the dogs are going to follow me as soon as I go outside. They've been laying in the shade today and trying to keep cool. And now it's nap time before night because these are dogs grew up in the desert, and they grew up being nocturnal. So they sleep during the day, and then they go out roaming the desert at night. And they've been lately, because of the heat, they've been laying around down here at the cabin and not going out in the desert at night. But if they hear something or somebody coming, they get to barking at them and let them know that this place is protected by dogs. So anyway, we're almost here. We're almost here. Yeah. Hey, there's a shadow. Oh, I should have brought that spray. There's moths here. They like getting in cracks like this, so there'll probably be a bunch when I open this. Yeah, there's a bunch of them flying around. All right. So we'll do a quick update on the garden to fill in a couple of minutes here. Notice how all the plants are coming up beautifully, just growing like crazy. Potatoes growing like crazy over there. Onions and peach and avocado. And then the pear tree. There's pears on the pear tree. There's one there, there's one there. There's apples on the apple grafts I did. Now, I told you I had a friend or a neighbor actually bring me some scions. And she brought me scions from a loquat tree. Now, loquats are great for grafting onto quince tree. Quince rootstock works great for them. And quince also works great for pears and apples. So this is quince on this side. And let me see if I can find one. There's one right there. There's a quince fruit. And quince fruit has to be cooked before you eat it. But it does have herbal remedy properties. And I've got a couple of them on the tree here. But I'll be cutting like branches like this one. I'll be cutting it off and grafting a loquat onto there. So I'll try to get some loquat growing. Now it also is supposed to go onto pear tree. Now that's a type of a pear tree over there, and it just grows lots of leaves, and I've grafted apple and other pears from this tree onto it. But I'm also going to graft the loquat onto it and see if I can get some loquat trees going. Now loquats are a fall flowering or a fall producing tree. So that's when around here it gets cold, and loquat will handle down to 19 degrees Fahrenheit, but I've never seen, well, I have seen it one time get down to 17 here. But the only thing it does to the loquat tree is it'll drop its flowers and any fruit on it if it gets down that cold. So we'll see if I can get that to work. I'll have some added fruit to go. Look at the size of the clusters on this grapevine since it was pruned. And I mean, lots of them. Oh, look, there's a moth on there. And I'm going to come in tomorrow with that spray and knock out a few moths. So I just wanted to do an update on the garden. Look at the Tomato plants are coming up just peachy dandy. I had to tie a few of them with strings. The others are still too young to tie up. I don't want to damage the stem when I tie them, so I'll let them get at least that big before I'll put some strings down to them. I got some spinach growing in here, and the carrots are coming up just great. Now some of the radishes, I just told my neighbor, are ready for harvest. Let's see if I can get down here, and yeah, see, there's one right there. So yeah, there's radishes in here that are ready to harvest, and when I pull those out, I'll plant new seeds right to where in the areas that I pulled them up. This is the cantaloupe, and it's still doing well too. So probably when I pull the radishes from around the cantaloupe, I'll leave that little space open so that the cantaloupe has more nutrients to grow. I also put in some, what did I put in there? Oh yeah, beans. I put some beans in between the carrots. So as I'm pulling carrots out, then the beans will start coming up. So these grapevines also have some little clusters of grapes on them. They're doing just fine. In there, the multi-apple tree and the citrus trees are all doing well. And I also started another Fuji apple tree from seed, and I got that planted in here, and it's doing very well. And then that stuff right there is called purslane. This is all purslane, and that's edible too, and it's also very good for settling the upset stomachs and things like that. But as it goes to flower and seed, it also makes a great green feed for the chickens. So the BVD tree over here, the fig tree, looking nice and healthy, and there should be some figs coming out on this pretty soon. We'll see how that goes, and I'll have to up pot that before next year, so that's another project coming up. Well, anyway, that's about what I've got done here. We'll go back from the other side because we came down this side, and also got to keep my eyes open for snakes because both my neighbors have seen pretty good sized rattlers, and they should be too big to get in here because of the screen I use, but I still want to keep my eyes open. Gonna have a lot of potatoes. That's a good thing. So anyway, that's it, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget your thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. When I do the graphs on those on the quince tree and the pear tree for adding loquats, I'll be sure to record that and show you exactly how I do those graphs. All right, now this was a graft I did earlier this year in February, and this is apple grafted into the quince tree. And these are apples right here. Fuji and Gala are grafted into the pear tree. So I get one tree growing multiple fruit. Save space, save water, and get plenty of fruit. So I'll only let it get as tall as the roof of this place, and then I'll start trimming it and let it grow out a little bit that way, because that wall is coming down when I do the extension. That's it, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is G Bear signing off.